Welcome everyone. My name is Mark Cormier. We're here with Movement Yoga. Wednesday, I think, will be our day going forward. But as always, life sometimes gets in the way of our yoga, and we have to push back and make our yoga get in the way of our life. But anyway, so 9 a.m. Wednesday is a good time, and 12 p.m. East Coast. So welcome, welcome. I'm here with Kathy Cormier, and you ready to go, Kath?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think probably the last week with the Christmas tree, we still had some gifts underneath, and we wanted to get those gifts opened, and they were opened yesterday by our daughter who came down from Lake Tahoe. Now she's back up there with our son. Anyway, come on forth. How are you feeling today, Kathy?
Feeling good, thank you.
Excellent. Anything you'd like to work on?
Keeping those shoulders open,
Shoulder blades backing down.
The heart open to the world.
Heart open to the world. And we also have back heart.
That's right, back heart. That's what I meant.
We have front heart. And if we focus a little too much on front heart, sometimes we tend to get the, I'll demo it while you set up. Focus a little too much on front heart, we kind of get the, we forgot to take the, what do they call them? Clothes hanger out of the back of our shirt. So you want to think front heart and back heart and side heart as we stand proud. Stretch, breathe, move, and strengthen. Cool. All right, so back heart, front heart, side heart, all that good heart. Let's find a stand that's comfortable for you. We can bring hands on hips and just march it from side to side, lifting up the feet. And then letting that marching get subtler as we stay grounded through 2 feet, just shifting the weight from side to side. And then finding your balance vis-a-vis side to side. Now I'll invite you to rock your body weight front to back. We can lift the toes and lift the heels. And then letting that front to back action get smaller, more subtle as we stay grounded through the heels and through the toes. And then finding your center of balance vis-a-vis front to back. Keeping the knees relatively still, keeping the ankles relatively still. We can bend them a little bit. I'll invite you just to circle the circumference of your foot. Notice how this causes your core to engage to keep your balance. Your center of balance is 3 fingers below your navel, noticing that place. And then taking those little circles the other way. And then coming back to center. So you have a choice, either keeping your feet just as they are, or we can narrow our stance as we start to challenge our balance, really up to you. The tightest you would go is big toes touch, heels slightly apart. I usually find that a little too tight when I first start my yoga practice, and perhaps you will find that a little too tight too. Let's work on our breath, bringing hands to our heart, a light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Shoulders relaxed, long through all sides of the neck with a soft tuck at the chin. If you're comfortable with closing your eyes, otherwise just softening your eyes, and starting our practice just watching as our breath flows in and out. From a place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow breath in, followed by an equally long, smooth breath out. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, bringing the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll invite you to start to engage your core as you draw the low belly in and up, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up, squeezing a little more air out, more importantly providing structural support for our spine as we move through these shapes and sequences. To this deeper, fuller breath, moving towards a go-to breath in many flow practices, the Ujjayi breath, the victorious breath, slightly constricting the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. As we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice, often compared to the sound of the ocean as the waves wash in and out. Now finding the tongue loop, taking the tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind your teeth, keeping that tongue loop throughout the practice, keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by your side. Let's just work arms and shoulders right now as we inhale, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, arms back down. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms down. One more time, observing the natural rhythm of the shoulders. As the arms elevate, the shoulders elevate. As the arms descend, the shoulders descend. I'll ask you to go sideways, Kathy. At home, stay just as you are. Half sun salutation. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Hands can cap the knees as we lift chin and tail. On the exhale, tucking chin and tail as we round the spine. Hands can catch the back of the shins. Inhaling, moving towards neutral spine, hinging at the hips, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like that. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Inhaling, finding length as you arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as you fold again. Inhaling, arms out to the side, moving towards your neutral spine and then overhead. On the exhale, hands by your side as you stand tall. One more time like this. When you're ready, breathing in, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold again. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Sun salutation A. This first one I will not cue vinyasa. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine and then grounding on down and finding your down dog. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to add movement as you bend one knee and then the other, grounding down to the opposite heel, walking your dog, stretching it out, just checking it out. How does your body feel? And I'll suggest either letting that neck relax or long through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. Welcome, Stephen. From a place of movement, I'll invite you to move back towards relative stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. And then on the tail end of a breath, I'll invite you to bend the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, a little more space in that low back. And then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length as you arc. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Let's do one more sun sal A. This time I will cue vinyasa. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then on the exhale, arching the spine, elbows soft as you set up for a push-up with or without the knees. Inhaling into a back bend, hips stay down for cobra or lifting the hips up for your up dog. And then either using the knees or not, as you roll over the toes back to your down dog and holding your down dog for 3 or 4 long slow breaths. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath flows in and out. And again, feel free to walk that dog, feel free to add movement. And again, it's your practice, whatever feels right and good for you. A lot of times we see our yoga poses on the cover of a magazine, and obviously in a still photo there's no movement, but there's plenty of movement in the human body. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or maybe take that jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. Inhaling, riding the breath off, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun salutation B, flow style, we'll do one. Finding your chair pose, knees over toes, hands overhead, inhaling. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, a little back bend at the hot top, the city lights position. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you arc. On the exhale, arching the spine as you ground down, and I'll invite you to either stretch back to down dog or finding vinyasa. Classic vinyasa from Ashtanga yoga is chaturanga yoga push-up. Inhaling either into cobra or urdhva mukha svanasana, your up dog. And then back to ardha mukha svanasana or down dog. This is sun sal B, so we've got a little more work to do. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. You got right leg high. Yeah, don't knock those lights over.
Oh, no,
high on the left toes as we stretch out Achilles tendon and calf. And then looking between the hands as we bring that right foot through. Spinning the back heel down. Hands can always find the hips.
There we go.
And then out to the side and then overhead. Don't worry about the frame too much.
Man.
And then riding. Your exhale back to low lunge. And from low lunge back to down dog as you go. Yeah, a lot of people are mostly just listening to the audio. So the video is just a bonus. Although it's a beautiful bonus. Awesome. Once you're back at down dog, setting up for our second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Whoops, there goes that light. Left leg high to the sky. And then looking between the hands as we bring that left, you're not opening up the hip yet. We're going to keep it straight at first. Now you bring that left foot through. Spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. And then riding your next exhale. Back down to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Kathy moves so beautifully through these shapes. She takes her time, she's focused, she's present. And that's why we have her on camera, because she's a good example for all of us. And again, yeah, feel free to walk that dog, feel free to stay still. Again, just making it your practice. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. More space in that low back. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump around. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. On the inhale, stay low. We'll come back to that chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll ask you to face camera again as we bring hands to heart. We finished our warm-up sequence, so we're recentering now, watching as our breath flows in and out. From here, we'll work one of my favorite breath exercises, either stepping or jumping your feet hip-width apart. Working with our fire breath, short, sharp exhalations out through the nose as we inhale, arms up in front. On the exhale, passing the hands through. We'll do 8. Couple more. And then back up. And either stepping or jumping it in. Sun Sal C. I'll ask you to go sideways again. And we'll start it with our chair. Inhaling. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length. You got to do that thing first before you step it back.
Oh, am I doing it?
Take a breath to find length. Now you're going to fold again, exhaling, and now you're going to ground down, and make your way back to down dog. It's all good. These are all suggestions. It'd be nice if you followed my suggestions, but having said that, it's nice if you don't.
You know what, now you understand what people are doing when they're in class not following what your instructions. They're in their own heads.
They're in their own heads. All right. All right, so we're going to add that hip opener now.
Yes.
Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder grounded as best you can, twisting from the ribs as we stack the hip. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now pitching that knee a little bit higher, feel the stretch, and then sweeping that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for your warrior one. In warrior one, I'll invite you to bring hands back to your hips and just assessing. If you can go longer, go longer. If not, you stay right there. From here, sweeping hands back high to the sky. Pulling silk threads. We don't want to rip the threads. Breathing in. We're working our front heart and back heart here. Exhaling side heart 6 times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last 2 here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in. Breathing out. Now holding this shape. The elbows move back, the hands come with. We can ripple those fingers. This is a great go-to stretch whether you're on a yoga mat or not. Finding your front heart, finding your back heart, finding your side heart, and breathing into all those hearts. From here, let's play with our Warrior 3 Balance Challenge. Oh, actually, let's work our Rainbow Warrior first. Yeah. So a clasp of the hands behind the back, shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat, and then taking a deep forward fold inside the front leg. Take your time. When you get into your forward fold, relaxing the neck, heavy in the head, and then any amount letting those shoulders slide down towards the floor. Nice, beautiful. As we hold the Rainbow Warrior, adding a little swing, a little sway. And now I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin as you bring your shape back up. Coming back to our Warrior 1, arms out to the side and then overhead. Now we'll move towards that Warrior 3. Hands find the hips. Spinning the back heel up, big step in. I'm going to start to balance on that right foot any amount. Now this is a spongy mat, it's a carpet, so definitely you don't have to go to your max. From here, working arm variations as we stretch hands back. I think the tree is safe on this one. Arms out to the side, maybe not. And then sweeping those hands in front and then challenging your balance as you lift the face to look through those hands. Nice. Hands in front, find the heart as we recenter. Hard hands become hip hands. As we land that back foot back, we take a big step back as we come back to our Warrior 1 prep. Yeah, so you want to have an angle on that back foot, maybe a little bit more of a obtuse angle than that. Yeah. How's your knee feel? Good. All right. With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips front. So we're moving to another Warrior 1. 4 fingers find the tip of a thumb, stretching out our wrists. And we can circle those wrists 2 or 3 times one way, 2 or 3 times the other. Bringing those bird beaks onto our shoulders, relaxing our shoulders and squaring our heart front. Finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat. That's front heart, back heart, side heart. And then again, stretching those hands high to the sky. Awesome. From here, let's bring hands back to the hips. And we're going to turn Warrior 1 into Warrior 2 as we open up those hips to face the side and kicking that back foot in. And then finding one long arm and then looking out over those front fingers with a steady and relaxed gaze. And this is your friendly taxi cab practice. You want to get paid for the ride. You don't want anyone to get sick in the back seat, but you don't want to be mean about it. There you go. Painting rainbows. Again, we're pulling silk threads. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 1. You're about a half step behind me. That's all good. We're going to hold this shape. Finding more space between each rib with every breath. Reaching up higher, reaching down further, spreading those fingers wide as we find more space in our hands. Awesome. Notice how when you spread the fingers wide, that really opens up your shoulder. Nice. And then taking it back to a Warrior 2. Setting up for our triangle, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. We can deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. And then we'll ground bottom hand either on shin, brick or bricks outside the calf. If you use bricks, feeling that physical connection. And then grounding down through those bricks. We can use this top hand to good effect as we rotate our ribs, opening up shoulder, stretching hand high. And just because your back is to the camera, I'll invite you to focus on breathing into back heart. Feels so good. When we connect with back heart or any point on the back plane of our body, we connect with a part of our body we don't usually see. And in doing so, connect with everything else that's beyond our field of sight. Awesome, beautiful. From here, I'll invite you to move towards your half moon. You know how to get there. Hand finds the hip. We soften the front knee. We can take either one or several steps in. Setting our base. So you might use two hands here. Otherwise, a hand and a foot, right hand off to the right. Left hand can stay down or it comes onto the hip. You can work a low half moon. You can work a higher half moon. That's a nice high half moon. Although low half moon can be nice too. We rotate our ribs. We open up the shoulder first, yeah. And then stretch that hand high. Awesome. Again, I'll invite you to breathe into back heart on this one. So usually we breathe into back belly, but we're shifting the focus here because we're focusing on heart chakra today. Awesome. From here, coming out easefully, hand finds the hip. We can land a short stance, no big deal. Foot comes down. Hands find the hips as we come on up. Now shifting weight onto that front foot as we lengthen our stance, we're going to come back to our warrior two. One long arm, take your time. Warrior two, yeah, so it's going to be the arms out to the side. And then from here, a big windmill of the arms. As you stretch out your shoulders, there's different ways to windmill. And either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. And again, take your time, find your flow, follow your breath. Welcome, Elvin. So let's, how's your energy level?
Good.
All right, let's work the moving plank pose as our interlude. I'll allow you to inhale forward to plank pose. And then on the exhale, navel to spine as you lift the hips high. Couple more times, inhaling it forward, exhaling it back. This last one, let's hold for a few breaths. Inhaling forward, exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Keep pressing into the mat. Exhale and hold. One more half breath, breath in. And then breath out, navel to spine. As you lift those hips high and hold them. Awesome. You ready for your second side?
Sure.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. The light seems safe. Keeping that left shoulder anchored as best you can, twisting from the ribs as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now pitching that knee even higher, feel the stretch. And sweeping that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side. And then overhead as we find our warrior one. Yeah, I think the tree is safe. From warrior one, we can bring hands back to the hips and just assessing, are you as long as you can get, or at least a comfortable length. You might go longer when we're stretching your legs. I tend to go short, so I always do this step. And then re-stretching those hands high to the sky.
Excuse me.
God bless you.
Thank you.
From here, pulling silk threads. We don't want to rip the threads. Breathing in. And then finding our cactus arms. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. We're halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last two. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last one. Breathing in. Breathing out and holding those cactus arms. The elbows move back, the hands come with, rippling those fingers. Breathing into front heart, back heart, side heart. Awesome. And now let's find that rainbow warrior. Yeah, so clasp the fingers behind the back. We can do it with warrior 1 feet. Shoulder blades back and down initially, open heart, open throat. And then leading with the heart as we take that deep forward fold inside the front leg. Take your time, there's no need to rush. Once you're in the rainbow warrior, I'll invite you to relax the neck and heavy the head. Letting your shoulders slide down towards the floor. Yeah, and then adding a little swing, a little sway. Just inviting any tension in your neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head into the earth. In the earth, there's lots of room for that tension. So our bodies can just let it go. Kind of like a lightning rod. We don't have lightning rods here in San Francisco, but in parts of the country, they're very, very necessary. In our Rainbow Warrior, before you come up, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin, feeling the stretch in your back of your neck. And then bringing them up. And we'll come back to our Warrior One. Arms out to the side and then overhead. Actually, we did the whole hip thing. So let's bring hands back to hips. We're going to steer our hips. 4 fingers find the tip of a thumb.
Oh, okay.
I think we did this, right?
We did this, but we did it after our Warrior 3. That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it before.
Yeah.
The needle skipped on the record a little bit. There you go. Bringing hands on shoulders, relaxing our shoulders. Finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, walking the fingers one over. Open heart, open throat, breathing into front heart, back heart, side heart. And now stretching those hands high. And now we'll go to our Warrior 3. Hands find the hips. As we spin the back heel up, we either one big step, a series of smaller steps in. And then, yeah, starting to balance on that left foot, any amount. And again, it's a difficult surface. It's a little spongy. Working the arm variations as we stretch hands back, shoulders stretch away from the ears. Nice. Really, maybe go long through those fingers. Yeah, more space in your hands. That'll help stabilize the shape. And I think the Christmas tree might be at risk on this one. Arms out to the side. I'll be your spot here. And then sweeping those hands in front. Nice, nice, nice. Awesome. And then maybe challenging your balance as you lift the face to look through the hands. Beautiful. Hands in front can find the heart. Hard hands become hip hands as we land that back foot in our Warrior One stance. And now I think we turned it into Warrior Two, right? So we're going to steer the hips sideways and kick the back foot in. And then finding one long arm. Looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. From here, painting rainbows. And we don't want to, it's also a way of pulling silk threads. So we don't want to break those threads 6 times. I'll try to stay with you. Breathing in and breathing out. I get so excited. I tend to cue a little too fast sometimes. Breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last one. Breathing in, and I'll invite you to hold that shape. Reaching up higher. Reaching down further. Finding more space between your ribs. Breathing into that space. And then spreading those fingers wide. And as you spread those fingers wide, notice how the shoulders have a sense of space from the inside out. And from here, back to our Warrior Two. Transitioning to Trikonasana, the triangle. Thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. We want to deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. We'll ground bottom hand down. You can use your shin, thumb in line with the shin bone to open up that bottom shoulder. Or if you have a yoga elf or your bricks are close by, I like to use the bricks. Setting up that foundation with the bricks and feeling that physical connection. From here, we can use that top hand to good effect. So first the ribs. So you want to rotate those ribs, and if you've already done it, opening up shoulder, now stretching hand high. So now you can see front heart, breathing into front heart, side heart. So generally, I always like to work with the legs because in a standing pose, because we're standing, that's our foundation. So I consider the center of balance down here. Some people, there's another emphasis because obviously you've got another center of balance because they're not perfect circles up here between the two shoulders, and that's your heart chakra. So belly chakra, heart chakra. From here, moving towards your half moon, take your time, hand finds the hip, big step in. You might use 2 hands on the floor or a hand and a foot. Find your foundation, make sure it's solid and stable before you go up. Once you feel that you're solid and stable, you can start to lift that back leg. Hand can stay on the hip. Maybe it rotates the ribs. Maybe it opens up that shoulder. Maybe it stretches high to the sky. Nice. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And again, breathing into heart chakra here. Coming down easefully, hand finds the hip, back foot comes down, no big deal. Yeah, so usually like to land the foot before I come up, just so I have 2 feet on the floor. Now hands find the hips as you reestablish the length, shifting weight onto the front foot, back foot steps back, finding your warrior 2 pose here again. And then either a single arm windmill, or Kathy likes to do the double arm windmill, there you go, finding her low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Again, take your time, find your flow. And there's always the child's pose possibility, wherever you choose to work. I'll invite you to fill the back plane of your body with your breath. Using your breath to find a little more freedom, a little more space in your spine. And again, also just connecting with a part of our body not easily visible. Yeah, if you want to go child's pose, go for it. Yeah. Palms down is going to be a little more grounding. Palms up, a little different effect on the shoulders. As you hold whatever shape you're in, child's pose is really nice just to gently rock your body side to side. Getting into your back, getting into your hips. So you might see what my hips are doing. Maybe try to just do that in the context of the child's pose. There you go. How's that feel? It's good, right? Yeah. Wherever you are, always feeling free to stay there. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or maybe take that jump front. Awesome, beautiful jump. You even have the hover going on. Take a breath to find length. We're going to arc the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as we fold again. Inhaling, knees over toes, finding your chair pose, back of the head in line with the sacrum, neutral spine. Exhaling, taking it lower, yeah. And now rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to face camera as we bring hands to heart. I'll invite press of your thumb against your sternum. Relax shoulders, lining up your fingers. Without shortening the neck, a slight tuck of the chin. As we come back to that internal focus, watching as our breath flows in and out. Great place to breathe into your belly. Keeping the belly soft on the inhale. Keeping the belly soft on the exhale. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by our side. If your feet aren't already hip width apart, we'll invite you to step or jump them that way. Working with our fire breath again, inhaling arms up to one side. On the exhale, passing hands through center. And other side. Let's do 8. Stuff I really like 8 of them. A couple more each way. And back up. And either stepping or jumping it. I'll ask you to go sideways. We'll do another standing sequence. They tend to work really well on film or on camera. So starting with our chair pose, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. The city light shape, open arms, open heart. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Before we ground down, finding your arc, hands cap the knees. Now finding an arch as we fold again, and now grounding on down. And making your way back to down dog as you will. Take your time. Welcome, John. So let's add some hip circles to the hip opener in our 3-legged dog. So big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. The light is safe. Keeping right shoulder just as it is. Lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now circling the thigh bone and the hip socket for 3, and 2, and 1. Taking it the other way for 3, and 2, and 1. Now pitching that knee higher, and then sweeping that right foot through, spinning the back heel down. Finding your warrior 1, arms out to the side, and then overhead. Awesome, find your balance. Let's bring hands back to hips for now. If you're at your max, stay right there, otherwise going longer. We're going to move towards a twist. Right hand grounds right hip, finding length on the left side, reaching out, reaching up, and then exhaling, reaching out. We'll do that 6 times, breathing in and breathing out. Again, we're pulling silk threads. We don't want to rip those threads. Exhale. We're halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Last one, breathing in, breathing out, and reach, reach, reach. We can start the twist with the wrist. We can slide to the elbow, either keeping that back foot down or lifting the back heel. Make a choice, one or the other. Here you go. So if we lift the back heel, it's a little more tippy, but you get more space. If you keep the back heel down, less space, but it's less tippy. Making a choice. I'll invite you to lift the chin ever so slightly, yeah. Having some space in our throat chakra. Getting ready to communicate with the world today. Honest and open expressions of true sentiment that comes from that open heart chakra and the strength that comes from that belly chakra. Awesome. From here, I'll invite you to come out of your twist easily as we find our low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you go. Either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back. Let's do our second side. But before we get there, let's work that moving plank just to turn on our core a little bit more as we inhale forward to plank pose. On the exhale, navel to spine as you lift the hips high. Inhaling forward to your plank. Exhaling, drawing it back. Inhaling forward to your plank. We're going to hold, really engage shoulders here. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. One more half breath, breath in. And on that next exhale, lifting hips high as you find your down dog. From down dog, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky. The light is kind of in danger. Whoops.
Oops.
That's hopefully it's an LED bulb. Not too hot.
Yeah.
Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, stacking the hips, and try to keep that shoulder grounded. Now bending that leg, opening up that hip. There you go. And now circling the thigh bone for 3, and 2, and 1. Taking it the other way for 3, and 2, and 1. Then pitching that knee higher, and then sweeping that foot on through. Finding your warrior 1. Spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. Now bringing hands back to the hips, deciding whether you're in a place of length that you would want to be, so not too long, not too short. And then grounding left hip with left hand. We'll find length on the right side, reaching up, and then reaching out. Reaching up, and then reaching out. Reaching up, and out. We're halfway done, reaching up, and out. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out. Last 1, breathing in, breathing out. Now we'll start that twist with the wrist when you're ready. And from the wrist, sliding to the elbow, making a choice, either keeping the heel down or lifting back heel. If you do lift the heel, everything's in one line here. Equal stress on both sides of the ankle. As you press the palms together, we can open up front heart. You might also think about back heart. You might think about lifting the chin a little bit as we open up our throat chakra. So again, throat chakra is how we communicate to the world. Heart chakra is is our intention. Belly chakra is our strength behind that intention. And finding Samarvriti, long, smooth breaths in, even breath, equally long, smooth breaths out. And then I'll invite you to come out of that twist easily as you frame front foot with both hands. And then back to down dog as you will. Deep full breaths. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length as we are. Exhaling, arching as we fold. On the inhale, finding your chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, finding your city lights, open arms, open heart. And on the exhale, back to neutral spine. I'll invite you to face camera, bringing hands to heart. Coming back to that internal focus, watching as our breath flows in and out. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by our sides. So if your feet are already hip width apart, you'll stay right there. Otherwise, feet hip width apart. One more fire breath here. As we inhale, arms up to each side. On the exhale, passing the hands through center, and then switching across. And we'll do 8, just because it's so fun. A couple more each way. The last one. And then either stepping or jumping those feet in. Either stepping or jumping those feet out. Hands find the hips. Let's angle the toes out. Let's rock it into half squat. As we take it on down. In yoga, we call it the goddess squat, or at least some people do. In rugby, they call this the sumo squat. And then rocking your squat, whatever you choose to call it, side to side as you get into those hips. And then just to land the knees, I'll invite you to bring hands down and find an all-fours position. And then I'll ask you to go sideways. Yeah, so land it first and then go sideways. Yeah, so the camera can see your spine. From here, let's work the cat-camel combo. Breathing in, arcing the back. Breathing out, tucking the toes as we round the spine. Breathing in, welcome John Kaveski. Exhaling, rounding. Inhaling, arcing. Exhaling, arching. Let's add that child's pose into the mix. Breathing in, arcing. And then sits bones back to the heels. Big toes touch as we round the spine. Any amount. And let's do that 2 or 3 more times. Breathing in. Breathing out, rounding it back. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, rounding it back. One more like this, keeping it simple. Inhaling up. Exhaling, rounding it back. Let's add side to side. Inhaling, coming up center. Rounding the spine as you draw it back to a heel. Inhaling up center. On the exhale, finding that other heel. Breathing in. And breathing out as we work it between the 2 sides. Breathing in. And breathing out. Inhale. Exhale it back. Inhale it up. Exhaling it back. Let's do one more each way. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhale. Exhale it back. And now adding a figure 8. Inhaling up center. Exhaling it back to a heel. Keep the hips low as we find the other heel up on the other diagonal. Shifting shoulders and hips. And back to first heel. Same direction a few more times. Keeping it loose. Keeping it liquid. As much about exploration as it is about exercise. You're seeing how everything feels, your mental state, your emotional state, your physical state. And maybe putting all those states together, which is what the meaning of yoga is. It means yoke, or the joining. As we get more unified, more connected. And then taking those figure 8s the other way, up on the other diagonal, shifting shoulders and hips. And keep going like this. Inviting more suppleness, more stretch, more strength into our bodies. Setting our intention for this day or this afternoon if you're working East Coast or somewhere in between. I think John Kaveski's in Louisiana. And one more time. And then I'll invite you to find your child's pose with a stack of soft fists and letting your forehead be heavy on those fists. Yeah, so one fist on top of the other when you're ready. Letting that press of the forehead into the fist relax the back of the head, the neck, and the shoulders. I'll invite you to gently rock your hips from side to side. Yeah, awesome. As we hold this shape, notice how your belly massages your thighs as you breathe in. How your thighs massage your belly as you breathe out. One more breath here. And then I'll invite you to bring your feet off to the side. Let's do a long, slow roll down onto our back. So coming to the top of your mat. Starting from neutral spine, so when we come up a little bit farther, we'll do a full body stretch, maybe even more. Yeah, you can be like slightly towards the front of the frame. So come.
I am in the front of the frame.
You are? Okay. Oh, you almost did. Oh, you can go even farther.
That's fine. I'm good.
All right. Frankenstein arms. Long, tall spine. Now finding your C-spine as you tuck tail and chin and slowly, slowly, slowly roll yourself down. Yeah, slow, slow, slow. When we get down, full body stretch, arms by the ears, not too low, keeping the ribs soft and drawing in, the low back lifts. And then I'll invite you to pressure back into the mat as you bring your hands by your hips and walk your feet in. Keep the back of the head down. Yeah. From here, let's draw the knees into the heart. Let's cap the knees with the hands. And just a gentle circling of your sacrum, releasing and relaxing your back. Yes. Okay. But I'm going to suggest knees stay together for this one. Yeah. So then you want to circle. Yeah. So it's going to look like it's a circle. Now take the circle the other way. And now back to center, and now we can start to separate the knees and circle them out to the side. And then taking those circles the other way. One more iteration here, egg beater knees. As one knee goes one way, the other knee goes the other. Notice how this stabilizes the pelvis. It's always so interesting to me. We move the knees in different direction in this exercise. We start to lose that undulation of the low back. And then taking those circles the other way. I'm not quite sure what it means, but it's fun to think about and fun to notice. And then back to center. And then pressing your back into the mat to support the action of the legs as you lengthen through your legs. Arms out to the side, palms face up, scooting the head back as you flatten your shoulders. And then letting your back find its natural curve as you find your Shavasana. And we won't be here too long. As we hold Shavasana, initially focusing on your breath, watching as it flows in and out. But as we settle into the shape, even letting that focus soften, as we bring our senses inside. In Sanskrit, that's called pratyahara. Starting to unhitch the five horses of the senses. The outside world starts to dim, and we start to hitch to the internal focus, internal vision, internal touch, internal taste, internal smell. I think I missed one. Vision, smell, taste, touch. We'll get to it later. Oh, internal hearing. And speaking of hearing, I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. I'll invite you to move your minds before you move your bodies. Bring your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and out. Like watching a river as that river flows by. From this watching of your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath, varying the ratio between the inhale and the exhale as we find a long, slow breath in, followed by an even longer, slower breath out. Keeping this more relaxing breath, inviting more prana, more life force into your bodies as you gently ripple your fingers and toes. Now inviting that life force in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles. I'll invite you to add a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you, connecting with your own innate sense of well-being. Now pressing your back into the mat to recruit your core as we draw one knee into the heart, the other knee follows, hands cap the knees, and massaging your low back any way you'd like, using your thighs to massage your low belly any way you'd like. And then I'll invite you to stretch long through an arm. I'll suggest the right arm. I wasn't sure if you turned into the Christmas tree. Come onto your side. Big breath in through the nose. Let it sigh out through the mouth. Breath in through the nose. Let it sigh out through the mouth. One more like that. Breath in through the nose. Sighing it out through the mouth. And then I'll invite you to push on up and find a cross-legged seat. As we sit, grounded down through our sits bones, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees. Pulling back with your hands to settle your shoulders, long and tall through the crown with a soft tuck of the chin. Two hands find the heart. Ending our practice as we started, watching as our breath flows in and out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga, and as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. The light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you at home for practicing with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me. And I love how namaste sounds just like have a nice day. And we'll see you all real soon.